Elation and jubilation, gamers from all around the world. I am Lucian and this is the World Gamer Show, the show where you get to see reviews, top 10s, tutorials. But today we're going to talk about ChuChu Rockets for the Sega Dreamcast. Back in the old days of the late 90s, online multiplayer was the way of the future. The internet was relatively new at the time and the Dreamcast was the first console to allow real online multiplayer closer to how we mean it today. And ChuChu Rocket was the first Dreamcast game to allow players to compete online against complete strangers. So you see, this game has made history, and it's an important milestone in online gaming. But that aside, is it fun? Does it hold up today? Is this rocket destined to fly high, or to crash under a heavy weight of nostalgia? Well, let's find out. ChuChu Rocket is a puzzle game with huge focus on multiplayer. Indeed, up to 4 players can join the mayhem. And I say mayhem because to anybody who doesn't know the rules, this screen right now might just seem utter chaos, to say the least. But bear with me, there are rules. The main goal is to guide a bunch of mice through a grid and lead them to your rocket to score points. 1 mouse in, 1 point for you. You win by scoring the most points before the timer runs out. To do that, you need to place some arrows on the grid to tell the mice where to go, and thankfully they are very well organized and only walk in lines. In a way it reminds me of the old game Lemmings. Remember that one? Gee, I'm old. Anyway, whenever the mice go against a wall, they will automatically turn to their right. The trick is to redirect as many mice as possible to your rocket, even trying to intercept and effectively steal the line of mice that are going to your opponent's rockets, in order to guarantee you a constant flux of mice. But that's not all. After all, what is a game about mice without cats chasing them? In fact, on the grids, there will also be ravenous cats, whose aim is to eat as many mice as they can, and if they manage to reach a rocket, it will deplete 1/3 of the whole amount of mice and points inside the rocket. Thankfully, the cats follow the same rules as the mice. This means that you can redirect them in the same way, by placing the arrows to lead them away from your rockets and possibly to those of your opponents. You can well imagine that the game plays a lot with this balance between leading the mice in and the cats out, by constantly placing, removing and replacing arrows. If you place the arrows with only the mice kept in mind, you will eventually lead the cats too to your rocket, depleting a lot of your points. But if you become too obsessed and paranoid with leading the cats away, you might miss a good bunch of mice. In one word, there are plenty of opportunities to be an asshole! But that's not all. Yes, there's even more. There are even special mice. There are 2 kinds. The mouse with the number 50 on it will give you 50 points instead of 1 once it reaches your rocket. The mouse with a question mark will instead trigger a random event that can range from invading the screen with cats or swapping the position of all the rockets, forcing all players to re-evaluate their arrows' position and their strategies. As you can imagine, this is the perfect setting for a party and lots of laughs. And probably some swearing too. Of course, you can apply all that I've said to the online multiplayer matches. You can compete against complete strangers or with other friends. The game originally came with a second disc that allows you to register online to Dream Arena, the Dreamcast online service. You don't have any friends to play with? No worries, me too! That's why I was relieved to see that there is a lot to do also in single player. For example, you can play a typical multiplayer match against other AI-controlled opponents, maybe to train before the next big multiplayer match. But the real meat and potato of the single-player experience are definitely the stage challenge and the puzzle modes. The stage challenge tests your QI and that of a second player by asking you to solve 25 stages within a time limit of 30 seconds. So it will actually also test your finger speed. The puzzle mode instead is full of nice puzzles. In these levels, your goal changes from scoring as much as possible to simply have the mice reach the rocket. The catch is that you have a limited amount of arrows to set on the grid, so you will need to use your brain. On top of that, you can even create your own puzzles to challenge your friends. You can also upload them online and download more puzzles from the internet. This extends the single-player longevity even more. The only real nitpick that I have is that I wish there was more graphic variety. But that said, you will be so busy looking at your mice that this probably won't bother any of you, really. And this game is not about graphics anyway, it's all about gameplay, adrenaline and multiplayer. Now, if you want to play this game, you're in luck, because the Dreamcast version is really affordable these days. And it was actually released at a budget price even at launch. If you don't have a Dreamcast, you don't have to worry, because it was also released on the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Finally, there were some ports lying around on the Apple and Android store as well, but they were all removed in 2015 and I've heard that they weren't really that great anyway. Even though I imagine that using the touchscreen to place arrows could be nice. Anyway, it doesn't matter how you play ChuChu Rocket as long as you do play it. It comes highly recommended. A must-own title for any Dreamcast or Game Boy Advance owner. We live in the era of online gaming, and this is exactly the perfect example of online game that was way ahead of its time, and that definitely deserves another chance. I'm sure that it will shine bright with today's network structure, which is admittedly much more solid than that of 1999. Just imagine this coming to the Nintendo Switch, with its touchscreen, portability and possibility to play online, but also local multiplayer with just one console. Even better if it comes for any gaming platform, really. Well, one can dream. But now, I want to know what you think of it. Did you play ChuChu Rocket at the time of its release? Did you play it online? Do you have any memories to share? Were you even aware that such a good puzzle game existed and got lost in time, even though it would perfectly fit in today's market? To me, this is the true definition of a hidden gem that needs to come back, and with style. Come on, Sega. Be nice. Anyway, share your thoughts or memories about the game in the comment section down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and also liking and sharing the video. It really does help a lot. So thank you again for watching this video. I'll be seeing you in my next one, but until then, stay safe, play safe, world gamers.